everybody, how's it going? And welcome to my review of Good Boys, a new raunchy comedy directed by Gene Stupnitsky, and it tells the story of three kids who, well, essentially they're trying to make their way to a kissing party. These kids are only 12 years old, and along the way they are hindered by such things as a couple of girls who have a drone that belongs to one of the kids' dads, and they need to get this drone back because it's his dad's most precious pride and joy, and they're holding some drugs that the girls had, so there's this kind of a standoff situation. And at the same time, it explores the core of their friendship, how, you know, when you're 12 years old, you think that your best friend at the time is going to be your best friend forever, and how, well, that just doesn't always happen in life. So before I get stuck in this review, I just want to say a really big thank you to Billsy and the team from Radio Metro 105.7 for putting on the screening tonight and inviting yours truly along to it. I really appreciated that. But let's get stuck in this review. So look, the trailers are, you know, quite famous for being really hilariously funny. But when I saw these trailers, I kind of thought, look, this movie could go one of two ways. Like, I don't mind vulgarity in a comedy film as long as it's backed up with something clever, you know, along the lines of South Park, stuff like that. Whereas, you know, when Sausage Party came out a couple of years ago, like, I hated that film because it was just vulgarity for the sake of vulgarity. So I was hoping that this movie was going to be good, but look, the best way I can sum it up is that it wasn't quite as good as I had hoped it was going to be, but at the same time, it wasn't as bad as what it could have been. It was just an okay movie. For starters, the three kids in the films whose names are Kid 1, Kid 2, and Kid 3, I don't know, I've never seen them before. Their chemistry was really good together. Yeah, there were sort of three very individual characters. I thought their performances were good, and yeah, they just really worked with the believability that these three were actual best friends. And I liked that they really touched on this thing of being an idiot when you're a kid, in terms of, you know, like at one point they're talking about how they've got some card that's worth $600 and one of them says, oh my god, we're going to be millionaires, and it's like, yeah, like when you're a kid, $600 seems like this vast fortune. And yeah, they had a few moments like that where they were believably kids. And the film was funny at times. Like, there were a few moments where there was a fairly solid laugh. But yeah, the humor wasn't that consistent. And one thing I will say about this film is it never quite reached the level of vulgarity that the trailers might have you expect. Like, it did have its moments, but yeah, pretty much all of them you've seen in the trailer. But overall, I felt the film really kind of played it safe, and it was largely because these three kids, in the trailer, you sort of get the impression that maybe these characters are real assholes, but they weren't. They were actually really nice kids. They were very politically correct. And there were a lot of times when this movie kind of pushed the agenda of anti-drugs and anti-bullying and all these sort of things. Like, it's kind of a shame in a way in terms of a raunchy sex comedy when you get these jokes that are being made, but then they've got to kind of counter that with messages of, oh, but you got to get consent first and stuff like that, which, you know, obviously, yeah, that sort of stuff does matter, but I don't know. I just felt this film was kind of watered down. Like, you know, when you think about really great sex comedies like Animal House and movies of the past, like, that just kind of booted the whole PC thing out the door and just let loose. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I miss those movies. And not only that, this movie just seemed really disjointed. Like, it was kind of a lot of scenes that were plonked together that had a loose connection to each other. Like in the trailer, when you see that scene where the kids have got to run across the highway to get from one side to the other. Yeah, look, it was funny, but it didn't serve the plot in any sort of way, and if it had been removed from the film, it wouldn't have made a single bit of difference. But then by the time you get to the end of this film, yeah, it was kind of touching, and like I said, it did do a pretty good job of tapping into that whole dynamic of childhood best friends. Because, I mean, when I was like 10 years old, my best friend who lived down the street, like, yeah, at the time, I thought we were going to be best friends for the rest of our lives until, I don't know, I was about 13 or so, moved away, never heard from him again. But I think this movie maybe could have done that a little bit better, like maybe woven that a little bit more throughout the film. So look, at the end of the day, Good Boys, it was okay. Like, you know, I didn't mind watching it, but I'm probably never going to see it again. I wouldn't own it. Wouldn't really ever watch it again. It's the kind of movie that, yeah, I feel like I've already seen it a lot of times before. People trying to get to a party. Things are stopping them from getting to the party. They've got to overcome their differences, and yeah, I've seen that film. So I guess, look, at the end of the day, this was very much the epitome of an average movie. It was fine when I was watching it, and by all means, look, if you haven't seen a lot of movies in your time, if you don't go to the movies very often, you might enjoy this more than I did. But yeah, look, that being said, like I said, this is very much an average movie, so I'm going to give Good Boys a 5 out of 10. Alrighty, so thank you very much for taking the time to watch my review of Good Boys, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because, yeah, a lot of people who watch my videos are non-subscribers. Yeah, I can tell who you are. So if you like what you see on this channel, pop on down, click the red button, join the party, and stay tuned for lots more movie reviews coming up soon. And in the meantime, if you have seen Good Boys, yeah, I'd love to know what you guys thought of it. Yeah, did you think it was, you know, up there with the better raunchy sex comedies, or did you kind of think, you know, So far away, drop me some comments either here, Facebook, or Twitter. All the social media links are in the description below, because I like to talk about movies, and I would love to talk about movies with you. Catch you next time.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.